Director here at Newlab, and I am very excited to introduce to you SOS Carbon. And SOS Carbon was a participant in our Puerto Rico Waste to X studio, which is just wrapping up. And this studio really started very broadly. Our partner was Invest Puerto Rico, an economic development agency on the island, and they wanted to tackle the challenge of waste, turning different waste streams into products of added value. And when we started, sargassum seaweed was really not on our radar for this endeavor, but through stakeholder interviews and engagement, we saw that this was really an issue that on the ground, people were finding was really impacting local communities, industries, and habitats, and they really wanted some action around it. And so we began investigating basically what can we turn this into, and what we found is, unlike most waste streams, there really is no existing value chain for how to take this material and get it away from where it's an issue and into something new. So we actually had to think about the entire value chain, and when we started looking into this, we really found that SOS Carbon is one of the global leaders in the collection and valorization of sargassum seaweed. So they were an easy choice for inclusion in our studio, and when we started going into what would actually it take to get their technology out into the ocean to collect sargassum at the point when it's really most valuable before it hits the land, before it causes the issues, and also when it can be turned into the most valuable new materials. And we found that one of the major hurdles was actually navigating regulatory agencies and determining the point at which this naturally occurring but over-blooming material goes from being a habitat to being an issue. And there are about 5 different federal and state agencies involved in kind of the regulation and determining kind of when that line is crossed and when it should be collected and all of that. And so SOS Carbon really came in and took the reins, and Newlab facilitated introductions to the regulatory agencies, local project partners to actually test this out on the ground and to try and collect the sargassum in a regulated and safe way. And so they were key in kind of being the tip of the spear of proving out an entire new value chain that can turn into a new industry for the island of Puerto Rico and actually for the entire Caribbean region. And so SOS Carbon's team was incredibly ambitious and proactive and has really gained a lot of traction on the ground, working with the project partners, Palmas del Mar, which is a housing development community that has a marina and beachfront access, and so is on the front lines of this sargassum crisis. And so SOS Carbon did their pilot, training local communities, collecting sargassum, and working with local regulators in an amazing way, and really proud of the work that they've done, and they intend to increasingly expand their operations on the ground over the next few years, and in the next 3 years expect to produce over 120 local jobs and investment of at least $5 million. So to tell you more about it, I'm really happy to introduce Andres Bisono Leon, CEO and co-founder of SOS Carbon.
Thank you, Sydney. For us, it was also easy to pick Newlab, and obviously with an amazing ecosystem of change makers. We're very honored to be here today sharing our story and what we were able to achieve in Puerto Rico. With that said, at SOS Carbon, we're on a mission to propel a sustainable agriculture, leveraging the power, the potential of invasive seaweed. So, bless you. I bet all of us here today, we can agree on one thing. When we look for a nice beach vacation, we are at least expecting a nice, pristine ocean. For the last decade, that hasn't been the case, at least in the Caribbean and in major locations across the US, like Florida and Puerto Rico, that has been inundated by invasive algae, invasive seaweed, invasive sargassum. Sargassum, as mentioned, not only affects tourism, but it also affects the marine ecosystem, it affects human health, and at the end of the day, it's just transforming our beaches the main economy of the Caribbean region into construction zone. Unmanageable, unsustainable practices that are creating other environmental issues like beach erosion, and also affecting the local ecosystem where turtles come in and have a critical habitat. You might be asking yourself at this point, what's causing sargassum? One of the main issues I can highlight is the unsustainable practice and use of chemical synthetic fertilizers. Over 40 million tons of synthetic fertilizers end in our oceans every year. You might be asking yourself a second question. Maybe sargassum is new, maybe it's going away. And actually, the trend is telling us that it's only growing. Last year, there was a big mat, double the size of the US width, was documented. And again, volumes are just growing. Volumes are unprecedented and unmanageable. And that's where we took the step to really do something, do our part. But doing it in hand with the infrastructure that is already available in the Caribbean region to really provide a sustainable operation. So at SOS, we're leveraging a vertically integrated operation from the harvesting to the processing. On the harvesting side, we focus on harvesting the sargassum in the ocean before it makes landfall. On the processing, we're focusing on utilizing the seaweed for producing organic, natural fertilizers, more specifically called, in our case, biostimulants. Biostimulants are like saying the protein for us humans when we go to the gym, the chemical fertilizer. And with the biostimulant, we're looking to have three main benefits. One, reduce the use of synthetic fertilizers in at least 5 to 10%, increase crop yield, and also make the plants more resilient to climate effects. So at SOS Carbon, since 2020, we have been deploying our Littoral Collection Module, or LCM for short, developed at the MIT Mechanical Engineering Department. It is a simple hardware, that's where the innovation comes in play, that adapts to local fishermen boats. Local boats are available Caribbean-wide. It's like a horse saddle. It fits almost 99% of local boats and turns them into high-capacity harvesters. Again, focus on collecting in the ocean, already where sargassum is known to be a problem, where it's already affecting the corals, the turtles, the marine life of those areas. As we navigate the boat, sargassum is collected on nets that are reusable and interchangeable, so every time a net is full, we then go and put a new one and keep going with the operation. Then sargassum is taken out, and these operations are coordinated to meet the different locations that we operate. So again, we don't create construction zones for the tourism industry. We have also been servicing power plants that are one of the main stakeholders affected by the problem. For example, last year, United States, because of a problem in USVI, United States Virgin Island, declared state of emergency due to sargassum. In Puerto Rico, as Sydney highlighted, we had a successful pilot. First, we obtained all permits and authorizations from state and federal regulators to undertake this activity. This was done for the first time ever, and we are looking forward and already setting practices in place to scale up operations. We empower and train the local communities. Again, they're a key pillar of our operations. And also we showcase how working in Puerto Rico with local public and private sector can really position us to keep scaling our operations, not only for the mitigation, but also for developing a value chain from sargassum. So again, in Puerto Rico, we deploy one of our LCMs, and Puerto Rico has many other advantages just apart from just offering another territory. We're already operating in Dominican Republic, Antigua and Barbuda, Mexico, and and Puerto Rico. And in this case, it's another location where we can take that sargassum and supply to keep fitting into our processing. The coastal communities are a key pillar, as I have been highlighting. In Puerto Rico, we're looking to add per every system at least 10 direct jobs and really integrate them as part of the solutions that we deploy. Again, we're looking to have win-wins for all because they also know the ecosystem where we need to operate, and we are offering formal employment to keep them incentivized and undertake these environmental sanitation activities. Puerto Rico has a lot more to offer, as I have been highlighting. Also, we're looking to take advantage from their tax incentives like R&D credits, and also their human capital and their access to developed economies like, evidently, the US. So what's now? Currently, we are on field trials for our biostimulant, working in plantains and tomato, and soon we'll be starting in banana and rice, one of the major crops consumed in the Caribbean, as a kickoff and demonstration of the benefits of our product. Our product meets EU standards so that, for impurities and everything that is required to take the biostimulant into commercial stage. And we have ambitious goals. This year, we're looking to have a production capacity of 75,000 liters so that we can keep expanding our pilots with key partners in the agricultural sector, but also transition to a commercial stage. And by year 5, we're looking to have a yearly production capacity of 9 million liters of biostimulant. By the way, the total addressable market for seaweed-based biostimulant is around $1.8 billion. Seaweed-based, so it's not biostimulant, it's not fertilizer, it's the subsegment seaweed-based biostimulant, around $1.8 billion. And lastly, again, we're very eager to interact with you all. If you are part of or interested in sustainable agriculture, social impact, ocean conservation, or even carbon credits, looking forward and very eager to interact and meet you all as we keep developing ways of scaling our work, not only in the Caribbean, but leveraging the Caribbean to have a global reach, a global impact. So looking forward, and thank you, Newlab, again for having us.